this person, he's been in that space, but not only is he that entrepreneur, but he also is a resource to creative entrepreneurs like yourself.
A fixed mindset says my circumstance is my ceiling. Growth mindset says my circumstance is information connected to opportunity. For brands, like part of monetizing your messaging is really simply understanding like these people you're trying to connect with, what do they consider to be dope and how do we deliver that? Your core values are going to drive your success. If you have success in the boardroom and don't have that same success at home, it's only a matter of time for that house of cards comes tumbling down. One thing that's true of creative entrepreneurs is that we have to come to a place where our curiosity is bigger than our ego.
Based on you listening to this podcast, you're probably a creative entrepreneur who's ready to stop hustling for clients and start building a business that runs on purpose, profit, and peace.
If that's you, we want to invite you to join the Creative to CEO Challenge, a 5-day live coaching experience designed to help you shift your mindset and develop the habits to turn your creativity into consistent cash flow.
And it's all happening live on Zoom inside a private community of ambitious creative entrepreneurs just like you. People who are done guessing, done grinding, and ready to build with clarity and confidence.
By the end of the challenge, you'll have a crystal clear direction on your next 90 days, a profit plan that fits your lifestyle, and the framework to start earning 10K plus months doing what you love without burning out or selling out.
So if that sounds like what you need, then tap the link in the description or scan the QR code if you're watching this on screen. And do not forget to upgrade to VIP for bonus coaching and behind the scenes Q&A every day of the challenge with me and Shai.
We can't wait to help you unlock CEO mode and the freedom you've been working for. Now, let's get back to the episode.
What's up, and welcome to the Minding My Creative Business podcast, the #1 podcast for creative entrepreneurs to find strategy, structure, and self-development all in one place. Today, listen, I'm your host, Shai Speaks.
And I'm your co-host, Ron Ironically Jr.
I was about to say, and today, I always be the one to say, I'm excited, but I'm gonna let Ron do this right here.
Yeah, no, we're excited. We have a phenomenal guest for you all. This show is going to be similar, but it's going to be a little different because we're making this a little adjustment to where normally we're interviewing creative entrepreneurs that are, in the space that are making 6, 7, 8 figures. And this person, he's been in that space, but not only is he that entrepreneur, but he also is a resource to creative entrepreneurs like yourself. So that's one of the things we want to lean into within the podcast, is starting to provide resources for you all, right? Because it's one thing for us to get inspired by people's journey and learning the steps, but there's some other things that we need some other support. So we want to start this series where we're providing resources to you as the audience.
So here to kick off our series, we're calling the Resources for Creative Entrepreneurs, right, is a Harvard-trained neuroscience coach, a fitness enthusiast trainer, no stranger to that world, has been both a trainer and a gym owner, also the mindset coach, right? The work has spanned the NBA and the NFL. Like, I'm smiling because it's so phenomenal, and I cannot wait for you all to experience the resource that is Terry Williams. Come on, what's up?
Hey, thanks y'all for having me. I'm excited. I feel grateful to be able to be here and connect with you guys. I love that you're doing this as not just empowerment with, I love how you said structure, strategy, and self-development for entrepreneurs. It's really dope. I'm excited to dive today into that self-development piece and to talk resources for entrepreneurs and being an entrepreneur in a few spaces, kind of like serial entrepreneur, I guess is the terminology we give to that. I've experienced life in a few different lanes, and I'm most passionate about the lane I'm currently in. And we're going to dive into that today and talk mindset. I think that is the ultimate resource for entrepreneurs, and we'll get into the nitty gritty today.
Yes. So, no, we're excited, but that's how we would introduce you, right? How would Terry introduce himself?
Yeah, well, I typically introduce myself 2 ways, professionally and personally. So if I'm introducing myself professionally, I'll throw a nod to that Harvard-trained neuroscience coach status and talking about how I journeyed with an NBA franchise, the Boston Celtics, for 4 years in a consulting mindset coaching role, was able to be on the ride to the latest championship that saw them become the winningest franchise in NBA history with the 18th banner. And then like here locally, getting to work with the Texans. So at the time of this recording this weekend, I'm preparing to speak at the Houston Texans homecoming weekend. Super just honored and excited. Grew up as a Houston Oilers fan. And so like Texans are my squad. Like that's like for life kind of thing. And so getting to actualize my dream, stepping in to really powerful spaces in the NBA, the NFL, and Fortune 500 companies, really just going in and finding high performance culture and finding a way to notice the embers, the little flecks of light, little bit of warmth, but saying, how do we agitate those embers, stoke them, fan them into flame? Because an ember is pretty, right? But a flame can keep you warm when it's cold, can cook your food, right? I go in and I look at culture and say, how do we make this system go and ignite something powerful? Typically, you step in and do that, you see the HR department happier, the employees healthier, and the revenues higher. And that's my goal professionally. But then introduce myself personally. My favorite thing about my life is being a dad.
Yeah.
I got 3 wonderful kiddos. My wife is my best friend. I know people say that and that's like the politically correct thing to say. But like, no, legit, my favorite human walking the planet is the one I get to do life with. And so that's what matters to me more than anything. And I cannot stress enough, especially in this space, as we're having a conversation with entrepreneurs, your core values are going to drive your success. If you have success in the boardroom and don't have that same success at home, it's only a matter of time for that house of cards comes tumbling down. But if we can set our foundation right on what matters to us most, we can just see more and more increase in our professional
Yeah, no, listen, you talking my language with that core values piece. And that's even, one of the things that I as a coach address with clients is that core values piece. Like you said, that is like that's your guidepost. Like that gives you the direction, right? So and if your core values are different from your behaviors, there's an issue there, right? So you got to make that adjustment. So I love that. No, I'm looking forward to this.
I know.
This conversation.
This is gonna be nice. Now we said, as promised, we're gonna get into the mind of minding my creative business, right? But before we do that, we want to give you your creative based strategies and structures and all that. So we're gonna scratch the surface on some of your business acumen, and then we're gonna move. So stick with us right here, okay? You're most passionate about where you are now.
Yeah.
Which is the mindset and emotional and just overall holistic coaching that you do. But there's a business model to that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So before I ask you a question about like money or anything, I want to ask like, you know what? Let me go back real quick. Can you just give us a snippet of like, how did you start monetizing your love for fitness? Like, how do you monetize that? And then we'll come back to the coaching.
Yeah, so my wife and I, 1 year into our marriage, founded our first company together, which is a fast pace to move at, right? I remember it being the night before my birthday, and we were just like 4 days from launch day.
Yeah.
And we're like cleaning up this space that we're about to, flip into doing this launch. We'd got some good social media buzz behind everything. We are young and foolish and trying to figure it out. I remember her being like, I feel so bad. You're like pushing this mop. We need to do something for your birthday. I'm like, my birthday gonna be this launch day. And how we monetized our passion for fitness was basically we went into this thing with me having loved fitness. I have taught at so many different studios around Houston doing group exercise. I was like a top billing personal trainer at a place. I don't say that's a flex or anything. It's just like, that's kind of the place I was in. And I was battling burnout. I'm driving all over the city, working crazy hours. That someday, eventually, we're gonna have some kids and I need to settle into one thing. My wife had been on Wall Street. She had been doing investment banking. She is brilliant, right? And so I was doing fitness, she was doing business. We decided we'd come together and have a fitness business, right? And so we were not thinking at that time about all the things we're now more savvy in today. Now there's like systems for monetization and right?
Yeah.
At that time it was like, let's just start something. She's burnt out working in banking. The way she worded it was, I'm helping a bank make more money and that's not fulfilling. I'm like, let's get you out of there. My situation, like I said, I'm not sleeping. I'm just always hustling, grinding, going, moving, shaking. And it was like, what if we could have together a one-stop shop where I instruct fitness in one space? then I got into like doing the merch and designing dope stuff and the marketing and communications, right? And then she was able to just do the business stuff, right? But she also got into, I'm no longer with this large multinational corporation. I'm in a community, a neighborhood. Like these aren't just my clients, these are my friends. These are people we care about. So we're able to more organically relate to people and have a human forward experience. We couldn't have known at that time that we were really ahead of the curve, as now the world is going really fast in the direction of AI integration, which I understand and support. But what humans want more than ever is authentic human connection. So then monetizing fitness became a very natural thing for us, because we weren't on, you know, the trends of things that were like super popular at that time. We weren't a CrossFit affiliate. We weren't like a big box gym, like a 24-hour fitness. So it's kind of an anomaly at that time when we launched back in 2013 to have something where it was like group exercise, but in a space where you have a small class and it feels almost like personal training, but with community. And it was like simple things like super lit playlists and just incredible customer service. And, you know, people want what's locally owned, and they're not just seeing some faceless brand. Like, I got to talk to the owner today in my class, right?
I love what you're saying, because a lot of times when we talk about how do you monetize something, people give you all these other tips about like, but what you talk about is like, we just related to our community. We had like organic stuff that was happening, like cool playlists, good workout classes. We were serving them for fitness and but you know what I mean? Like, so I love that. It's from a even from a strategy perspective, that make your strategy be real human connection. You know what I mean? Like, I think that, but I think, didn't you guys start, did you own more than one gym? So there's some scale or something that happened. So how do you?
So we started with one. Thankfully, Houston embraced it. It took off. We started doing like, you know, this was before podcasting was booming like it is now. So it was like the local radio station wants to have an interview. Then a local TV station reaches out. Then that's a very competitive market. So once you're with the local NBC affiliate, the local CBS affiliate calls, like, we want to have you on our show. Then the local ABC affiliate. So it kind of turned into this thing where we had worked with all the local pieces of the large media corporations without us ever putting a penny into it, without there being any PR representation. It was like we were just this young, scrappy, hyper local brand. And like our merch would be like retro takes on stuff that Houston loves. So it'd be like throwback Rockets colorway, red t-shirt with yellow print and some vibey font. Or it'd be like Astros, throwing it back to like the, you know, the blue and orange era before they brought back that colorway, right? While they had like the ugly uniforms, we were the ones of like playing up on 80s trends and stuff. And so I would say too, for brands, like part of monetizing your messaging is really simply understanding like these people you're trying to connect with, what do they consider to be dope, and how do we deliver that? Right?
That's it. That's it. And it's very, you made it sound very simple.
Right, you did.
It's simple.
I mean, but I think it is. I think a lot of times businesses it's convoluted because they're trying to do too much. But it's like, you can keep it simple. Not saying it's not hard work, right? It's definitely hard work, but you can simplify it. And like you said, that basic human connection. I know what my market wants. Like if I'm in Houston, I know Houston loves Houston. So what can we do to connect with people in Houston to where they're going to love what we're doing, because we're now giving them a piece of what they already love. I love it.
Simple scales and fancy fails.
So you guys scaled it. Did it get to the point where the gym was just too full and y'all couldn't take any more people? Or was it like, let's do this on another side of town? Again, we coming back for the mind and now the mind and my careers business. We got to pull out those Jesus neuroscience, Harvard training. We getting there. But I just want to ask, like, how did you know, like, let's do another one?
Our first location was really small, and we outgrew it way too quick. So we scaled to a second location, and that second location was in an area of town that we originally wanted to be in. So this was good news on good news. It wasn't just scaling. It was like we scaling and we going where we really wanted to go. Ultimately, over the full lifespan of the business, we had a total of 4 locations, as many as 3 at one time. We were able to scale into our second city, went to the Austin area as well. That was super fun. That's the city I met my wife in, and kind of where our story started. So to be able to scale that direction was really cool as well. And we had a lot of fun just like taking a small concept, but like growing it over time and making it bigger and serving more people with it.
Love it.
Love it. So go ahead.
No, I love it. One thing that he said that stood out to me is that when they started, they didn't have systems. So it's like the conversation we were having the other day where you don't need systems to start, but you definitely need systems to scale.
Yeah.
So you were able to scale because you put those systems in place.
Yeah.
And you went from 1 to 3 different locations. But
Yeah.
and then incorporating those other things that you mentioned, that human connection and connectivity.
Yeah, there's something really powerful in what you just said there too, because I think that some people are so scared to start because they feel like they have to have it all figured out.
Right.
Right. There's truth in the second part of what you said too. You're going to need systems to sustain you, right?
Yeah.
But to start something, to make it exist, matters.
Yeah.
Then you can make it amazing later, right?
Right.
But if it's there and it's serving a demographic of folks who benefit from it, like you're enriching somebody's life for what you're doing, and there's now commercial value tied to that. Oh, well, man, that's amazing. You're empowering somebody else's family and then feeding your family off the strength of that.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay. So we just know that, Terry is, listen, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I am so excited. Okay, so I said I was going to come back to this other question, which is the business of coaching. And more so than getting into, because I know you say like you've transitioned not necessarily away from fitness, because you're still in the fitness and the athletic world and still a brand ambassador from what I've seen when I was kind of looking at what all you have going on for some fitness brands, but still so you're more excited about the mindset, the neuroscience, the coaching, the emotional and all that kind of stuff. Instead of me asking you a question about monetization there, I want to ask you another question that is also systems oriented. Like, is there a framework that you take people through that you have in mind? Like, I think these are the most important core elements to walk through.
I love that. Yeah.
You got to have something like that. And I want it, because that way, and that's how we're going to lean into this conversation about mindfulness.
For sure, yeah. So when I was coaching physical fitness, I was never only coaching physical fitness.
Perfect.
There was always mindset coaching going on in the periphery. So there would be like Mindset Monday. This is the big question we're asking today, but you got to be vulnerable if you're going to play the game and answer this question. Or there would be a powerful conversation after the class with a person who's like, hey, the doctor told me I was going to battle with infertility forever, but because I've been in here minding my fitness and digging deeper, guess what? I got good news, right? You would see people's life turn around, people getting off of anxiety medication, people gaining new confidence, people meeting their soulmate. So there's always these conversations about life outside of fitness happening in a fitness space. It's almost like when you're a fitness coach, when you are a deeply empowering fitness coach who doesn't shy away from big conversations, you become a magnet for those big conversations, and you start to realize, oh, this is totally mindset coaching. There is mental and emotional fitness happening, not just physical fitness happening. So now in this new space where I focus on mental and emotional fitness, I step into these spaces where you have high achievers or like high performance culture, right? But what we forget about is people in high performance culture are still people. They're just humans. They're just like the people at the neighborhood gym. And so what I've learned is I can build a framework off those same exact conversations, right? And so for me, my framework is really simple. I dig into life purpose, I dig into growth mindset, and then I dig into rest, which is really deeply empowering for all the hard work that we do, right? So I believe that a person who really has a clear understanding of what their purpose is, their calling is, their core values are, is the type of person that can be a dog and turn it on and find the grit to have access to growth mindset. Because we can talk all day about fixed mindset versus growth mindset, but even with the best of intention, the deepest desires to try to find growth mindset, if it's not rooted in some sense of purpose, it's gonna fall apart, right? And then that last piece is, honoring rest. I think that some people wanna go hard, it's like hustle till I die. And then other people, it's rest as rebellion. I'll honor both of those, both sides of that coin. But I think that what we're not acknowledging as a society is that there is a rhythm between rigor and rest. Both things are needed. Humans need productivity and humans need recovery. Our recovery empowers our productivity. How then can we live a yellow light lifestyle, right? I don't need to be floor in the gas pedal. I also am not gonna do anything positive for myself or others if I'm on the brake pedal. What would it look like to have mindful movement? There's plenty of power in my pace, but this old Latin saying is festina lente. It's something I live by. It means to make haste slowly. Like, what would it look like if I said, I'm going to go so much harder in my workout tomorrow if today is a rest day and I actually honor that rest day?
Wow.
What would it look like if I said, I'm not going to beat myself up about making like 27 cold calls today when honestly, I need to be focused on one email that has a hard conversation I've been running from. And then tomorrow I get back on that phone, right? Finding a rhythm to life, I think is really powerful. So that's a long answer to your question, but
no,
that's
great.
It's mindset and it's finding rest. That's my framework.
So it's you know me. I'm thinking it's still your PGR framework, right? Purpose, growth, and rest. PGR.
Yeah, I like the way you package that. That's dope.
Yeah. No, that's dope. I mean, I love it because, like I said, you got to start with the purpose first. And a lot of times, people don't know the purpose of why, right? So, as a creative entrepreneur, we may create something. We may, have this business or this product or service.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't identify the purpose.
Yep.
Right. So having that purpose, once again, that North Star, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, cool. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. But then it's like, okay, now I want to growth. I want to take it to the next level. But in order to do that rest element is key. Because like you said, we know grind culture. We know hustle culture. You even identified it. Like, listen, in the beginning, I was hustling. I was doing all these things.
Yeah.
And me and my wife looked up and was like, she not identifying purpose.
Right.
Right. She's in this bank and it wasn't connecting with who she was personally. Yeah. There was no purpose connection. Yeah. And then me, I'm tired. I'm burnt out because I'm running around the city doing 50 million things, hustling, trying to get this to when we can come together, identify a purpose, and that's dope.
Yeah.
I love it.
And as you were talking about it, I was thinking about the challenge that we've created, the Creative to CEO Challenge, right? It's a challenge that we have for our audiences, our audience members of creative entrepreneurs, right? We want you to go from just being the creative only and knowing that you have a creative-based business. I know I'm the CEO, but are you doing it the CEO way, right? So that's what this challenge is all about. It's a 5-day challenge. You get live coaching for 5 days, mentorship from Ron and I. And one of the things, well, actually, let me give you 3 of the things we go through. We go through what we would say is like strategy, right? Or what Ron would say is like vision and clarity and all that. And then systems, or what we would say is structure. And so we have structure, but structure ties into the G. This is how my mind works, right? So that purpose is like vision clarity. That systems is where we're gonna take this thing, make it efficient, but the whole purpose of making it efficient is giving it room for expansion if it can, right? We can grow it like that. And then of course the last one we talk about within the CEO to Creative Challenge is sustainability, right? Sustainability, we wrap in both self-development and we wrap in rhythms, right? And when we mean by rhythms, we're talking about rest rhythms, we're talking about meeting rhythms, and all of that ties into how you're gonna have like a great financial foundation, because you can't have a great financial foundation if you don't have a rhythm of looking at the numbers. You don't have a rhythm of meeting with the team. You can, I need this team. The team haven't talked to you, they haven't gotten any information from you. So how do we have sustainability? And of course, the rest that goes into it, because you are still a creative based entrepreneur, so the creativity has to be there. So how do you continue to renew your creativity in the whole grind and hustle of it all? So I see the PGR tied to our framework as well, and seeing how it all works. So that's how my mind is working. I'm like, this is so cool. So we want to encourage you and invite you to join the Creative to CEO Challenge. Before I get back to talking to Michael, I just want to put that out there because this is great to hear this, but it's like, okay, after this, then what? Yeah, after that, lock in, because we're going to go through some of these same things that I'm sure he's going to talk about.
Nice. No, that rest piece, that really gets overlooked a lot. So I'm glad that you touch on that. Because like I said, that hustle culture, that grind culture. Now people don't even realize the word grind. It means to wear down. So you're literally wearing yourself down, and by you being a father and you finding purpose and value in that, it's like, I need to rest because my kids need the best of me. My wife needs the best of me.
We grind, but at what cost? We have a goal, we want to hit it. So we think if I relentlessly pursue this and I never let up, I'm going to get it quicker. But what if you got it within 2 years, you hit that goal, and then you found out in year 3 it wasn't sustainable, right? Versus, what if it takes you a decade to reach that goal you ultimately want, but when you get it, it's grown with interest. Now it's twice as large as you thought the bag was going to be. And it fits into a healthy life rhythm where you have built practices that are in support of you actually being able to sustain that and grow that.
And I think it's so great of what you're talking about for people who are high performer.
Yeah.
So high performers, it kind of usually, and I love people who are like usually mindset coaches or coaches, people, life coaches, people who wouldn't even, they coach relationships. They'll always compare back to athletes because like there's a grind that's already just built into it.
Right.
And so with you being a kind of in that world a lot of high performers, even high performing people who have businesses that operate at a certain level, Fortune 500, I believe you work with. It's good to make sure we incorporate, yes, the growth, the purpose, but there has to be rhythms there.
Yes.
And those rhythms has to do with your personal side, and of course rest is in there. So I think that's just as important to the high performance as anything else. Like,
for sure.
You know, perform high, you better try to rest them knees. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
recovery is huge.
Recovery.
I was watching this documentary series on the NBA called Starting Five. I don't know if y'all seen that. It's really fascinating stuff. So LeBron James was talking about this big rumor that he spends $1 million on his body a year. And so this is something that's just popularly talked about. And he was kind of laughing. He's like, oh yeah, I won't tell you the amount I spend on my chef and my nutritionist and my trainer and my physical therapist and the guy that comes and does like massage work on my quads. Right? There's a lot of stuff he has to do because he's now in his 40s and still playing at a high level. Like that's crazy, right? And so he was like kind of laughing it off. Like, I won't tell you how much I spend on my body. He was like, but ultimately the most valuable thing that I'm doing to invest in my body, money can't buy it, and it is sleep. Right?
Yeah.
And then I think about J.J. Watt, former Houston Texan legend, was on Hard Knocks, that NFL documentary where they go behind the scenes with NFL teams. And I remember this rookie is badgering JJ like, man, what I got to do to be on your level, stay late after practice and get extra reps. I do this, I do that. It's like trying to prove his worthiness and like ask like, man, this is my conversation with the GOAT. Like, please tell me. And JJ was like, you're not ready to be bored enough. He's like, can you sleep 9 hours a night? Can you get enough protein? Can you drink enough water? Can you stay out the club, right? It's like, you're not ready to do the boring, basic, beautiful work that's going to elevate you to another level.
And then that we just had a conversation about this yesterday as well, where you got to learn to do the boring stuff so that you can do the brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
If we try to avoid that, avoiding that hinders us, right? We're not able to reach our optimal because they said it's not exciting to rest. It's not exciting just to be still. So no, that's wow. That's dope. Like,
it's not until you start finding the excitement, until you start enjoying it. Because I know that, you know what I'm trying to say. Like if you, man, this book. Oh, of course, it's not an excitement, but it's like you can begin to love. Like I was sitting with a CEO the other day, and he is Inc. 5,000. His company just hit Inc. 5,000.
Cool.
And I was asking him like, so what do you do for fun now? Because he was telling me what he used to do, and he don't do it like that no more. Because obviously the business matured him. He had to like change. So what do you do for fun now? He was like, I never thought I'd be this guy, but I just enjoy my morning routine.
I'm that person now too, man. I go on a little run in the morning, and I come back to the crib and I get a nice little black coffee. I enjoy a nice sunrise. You know,
that's a good time, and it's a good time.
It's wonderful.
And then you have people that get so serious about I'm sure the neuroscience, the science and all that goes into your sleep. Like they have the ring, you know, they're tracking the sleep, and they're watching it to see like, I did get 8 hours of sleep, but I didn't get really 8 effective quality hours. So they're looking at, okay, how can I increase the quality hours? What do I need to do in my nighttime rhythm to ramp down for sleep? And I believe, now of course you can kind of start measuring too much to where you take the enjoyment out of it.
Right, that's a fact too. Sometimes we over leverage metrics. It's like just actually be asleep when you're asleep. Don't be assessed all the time.
So yeah, but I believe that they enjoy it. So I say that to say sometimes it's like people are like, I don't like this side. I don't like this side. Especially this is why we wanted to create Mind and My Creative Business podcast. It's because there's a whole bunch of podcasts for people who are in business. Businesses love learning. They love traditional business, that is. They love learning about leadership and just all the things. They just love all of it, the marketing and all. But I think the creators I like the creativity of it all. I like getting in there and being with the client. I like getting in there and designing the thing for the client or whatever it is that the creativity leads them to. But they're like, I don't like the admin. I don't like the. But you can begin. I believe that you really can in your mind, I believe the mind is powerful enough to begin enjoying the thing that you consider boring, and you'll find the brilliance in it if you approach it with that same creativity that you approach your talent or your, there may be.
And success is never boring, right? As go-getters, as CEOs, as creative entrepreneurs,
Right.
it's never a boring concept to be like, ooh, that worked.
Right.
I can double down on what works. That's what like Donald Miller, a popular voice in like CEO coaching spaces, he always says like double down on what works. So like, you try leaning into rest a bit more. You try the boring stuff that leads to the brilliant stuff. It's like, this does feel boring for a while until you see an uptick in results.
Right.
Or you see where it's empowered you and you're like, oh shoot, no, I've changed my mind real quick now. Like I love getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
I love a slow morning routine. I love embracing a practice of physical activity, even if working out was uncomfortable for me. Oh, now I see cognitively my brain is online. I'm so much sharper. I have more focus in meetings. I get better ideas. My creativity is on 10. I just wrote a book and that was made possible because I was moving my body better, right? Like we're going to start seeing success in the boring things that then lead us to better access to the brilliant thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go through this framework. So for our audience that's listening, let's say we're not going to think of them as an audience of people. We're just think of one creative entrepreneur that's watching right now.
Yeah.
And you're going to talk to them about some of the things that you walk through in framework. Me and Ron, we might let you coach us a little bit, like,
okay.
But seriously, we want to talk about that purpose piece and kind of move over to the growth mindset because you mentioned that stuff in the framework. So let's talk about it. If I'm a creativepreneur, I'm watching this right now.
Yep.
And it's like, there's this neuroscience, Harvard trained guy telling me I need to hone in on my purpose and life purpose. And what does that look like? And how can I do that?
Yeah, I think one way is to invite the concept of stress into your life. So it's EU stress. This is a healthy form of stress, right? Now, there's obviously a lot of negative forms of stress, which lead to higher cortisol levels. Your hormones are jacked up.
Yeah.
You can't control your mood. It wreaks havoc on your sleep hygiene, makes you a person you don't want to become, right? But there are healthy stressors which can really elevate your performance. And the most powerful way I believe that we can achieve that is by learning to suffer well or to struggle well. And I believe everybody needs an unrelenting endeavor. Now, there's a lot of pieces to my purpose practice that we don't have time to unpack, but if I had to pick one, it is to get an unrelenting endeavor. An unrelenting endeavor is the kind of thing that you can do it right for a long time and you still got questions like, am I doing this well? Am I improving fast enough? You can do it wrong really briefly and see instant consequences for doing it wrong. It's the kind of thing like you love it, but it low key sucks a little bit, right? I think about examples like gardening, right? Man, if you're doing it right, you got the right soil and you water them with the right cadence, but you still, when spring comes around, you're like, did I do this right? Are these tomatoes gonna ever bloom, right? That's a form of struggle that is safe to your nervous system and it's empowering to you cognitively. Research shows that this is the kind of thing that's gonna stave off dementia and Alzheimer's later, right? It's gonna bring more creative into your years right now, right? And then ultimately, if you do gardening wrong, you're like, forgot to cover the plants, it was cold outside, they froze, they died, right? An unrelenting endeavor is the kind of thing you don't get paid to do, but you love to do. It's the kind of thing that ChatGPT cannot do for you. You can't leverage AI help. This is a thing that you have to physically do. It's the kind of thing that it's hard, but it's beautiful, and you choose it, right? Like, I love that quote, what a blessing it is to be overwhelmed by a task of my own choosing, right? So for me, I do high rocks racing. I don't know if y'all have heard of that. It's a whole fitness craze, but it's hybrid racing. So you're running at a really high pace. It's already kind of exhausting. But then you're having strength elements too. You push a sled, you pull a sled, you do burpees, you do ski erg, you do row machine, you took kettlebells, XYZ. So it's hard, but it's also fun. And then in my training for it, none of that's fun. Like my training for it, like my coach is not playing with me. Like yesterday I had a workout. It was like, it's already kind of like a hard, long, daunting workout. And I'm having to get myself in the right headspace. Like, all right, come on, T, like you do this. Like you got the receipts. You've done this so many times before. You will have a good workout today. But it's like, I'm gonna be so sore after this. I'm gonna be tired after this. Like, am I gonna have energy to play with my kids after this? Like, this is a lot, right? And then ironically, I got more energy to play with my kids because I've done something so purposeful that makes me better. And then forget about this current era as my kid's dad. I'm gonna be a granddad one day. I'm gonna be the one without the bad knees and bad back, and you know, my kids aren't gonna have me hooked up to machines and on medications. It's gonna be like, yeah, Grandpa coming over to play with the kids, giving us a break today. Like, and so having an unrelenting endeavor just gives you access to the ability to meet yourself at a very different and more intimate level. You're no longer just, hey, I'm so and so, I'm a CEO of this brand, and I like to play golf in my spare time. Now you're this person who's like, whoa. I've met myself at the level of my inner child. I understand my shadow self. I've had different conversations. I approach people with less conflict and more curiosity, right? Like, you're gonna find purpose without asking the question, what's my purpose?
Right.
You'll find purpose by suffering well.
Yeah. No, and that's good that you say that. Me and my brother have this conversation frequently, right? Where it's like, we don't do anything. And it's a difference what you're saying between doing something that you have fun doing and what you're saying, but I think they're similar, right? Where it's like, you still find fun in it. There's still some fulfillment in it. Because we are so focused on everything that we do is like, it turns into work. Eventually, even if it's for fun, it turns into work somehow. So I love that because, like you said, it is freeing, right? There's a level of challenge there, which I love, which allows for growth, right? Because if it's easy, it's like, am I gonna keep doing it? Like, no, it's a level of challenge. So then that can build confidence and all these other things that take place. But yeah, I love that. I'm rolling through my head like, what could that be? What could I do? I was just telling Shai, I'm going through the Artist Way curriculum right now.
Okay.
And one of the assignments is to cook or bake something or do something.
Dope. I love that.
I used to bake as a kid and I loved it. And I did it because my sister was a baker.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm competitive to a degree. So it's like, I want to bake better than you, right?
Yeah.
But I enjoy doing it. So it's like, that's something that I'm like, okay, maybe I need to kind of reconnect to that.
See, so that is a really cool example. You used to bake as a kid.
Right.
Also, baking is the kind of thing where you might have some mindless time, like, oh, it's in the oven, I have a timer set, but you still have to be mindful of certain components, like, okay, it said till it's golden brown. I ain't at the number of minutes it said it should be in there, but that looks golden brown to me through that glass. Should I take it out?
Right.
It's a subtle, healthy form of stress that does not have real world implications, such that like your cake might taste slightly different, but it's not affecting your business's bottom line. You know, it's not going to affect how well your family eats, right? And you enjoy it, but you can't necessarily get exogenous help for it. Like it's on you. Like you decided, you committed, you mixed the batter, you put it in the oven, you knew how many eggs to put in there, how much butter, how much sugar to add to this matrix that looked like slosh. And then like you're hoping when I take it out of this portal that is this oven, it's going to look like a cake, right? And you did it as a child. So now as you engage in this activity, you're literally connecting with your inner child.
You're not just an entrepreneur. You're a creative entrepreneur, which means that your world of business works differently, especially when it comes to funding. Okay, maybe you're bootstrapping, injecting your own money into your passion, or you're searching for investors who all too often overlook your unique vision. And yeah, you've heard a little bit about business credit, but you don't know exactly where to get started. Well, listen, we've got your back. We've partnered with Credit Savant to help creative entrepreneurs just like you get access to up to $150,000 in business credit. That's right, $150,000 to scale your creative-based business into the enterprise that you know that it can be. And trust me, they're not just going to throw information at you and send you on your way. They're going to walk hand in hand with you to help you get funded. Are you ready to take the next step? Well, head over to creditsavant.io. That's creditsavant.io. And tell them MMCB sent you.
Like when I go and speak for the Texans, it's kind of dope to speak in an NFL space.
Right.
But for me, it's different from dope. It's like a destiny thing. Because I have this photo when I was 4 years old. I was in a Houston Oilers replica uniform. It was like all I wanted for Christmas.
Right.
And like, I remember being a little kid and was like, when I grow up, I'm going to be a Houston Oiler. I don't play football. I ain't big enough to play football. Like that was never in the cards for me. But talk about neuroscience. I had like sowed the seed in my mind, like I'm going to work with this organization one day.
Yeah.
And now I'm back.
Wow.
And I'm in that locker room and I'm able to speak to athletes, coaches, executives, personnel of all kinds within that organization. The former Oilers, now the Texans.
Yeah.
Ironically, the year I started doing speaking stuff with the Texans was the same year they brought back what they call H-Town blue, which is that like that retro baby blue that the Oilers used to wear. Yeah. And so it just feels like purpose. It feels like destiny, right?
And it's connecting with the inner child, like that said, I like this thing. I have a similar experience. I play basketball.
Okay.
Growing up, I still play. But people say, you play? No, I play. Let's be clear, I can play. No, but I used to say, I always wanted to do something in business and engineering and creativity. I always wanted that. But my family, as much as I played ball, they always used to say, she going to WNBA, she going to the league. And I used to think to myself, I mean, if it happened, it'll be cool. I probably am gonna go. I probably go. It's like eventually I started to say, yeah, I'm going to the WNBA. And so finally, 2 years ago, I wrote a song and it's called Wings. Now, you know, the WNBA has a thing called the Wings.
The Dallas Wings.
Yes, the Dallas Wings. So I was able to perform the song live at the Wings game.
No way.
And have the whole crowd saying, I got the wings, it's the wings. And I didn't realize it until what you're talking about right now, that I was like, why it mattered so much to me. And I remember in the behind the scenes, I had a camera guy there covering my team and I while we were there. And I said, I took the ball, that orange and white ball that I used to play when I was a little girl. I said, I made it to the WNBA, you know what I mean? So I made it in a different way, but I made it. So that is cool. I also love what you're talking about when you're saying you're picking a eustress, so it's a mild form of stress, but it's still connected to purpose in a sense.
Yes.
And it's because you're like, purpose right now is going to help me be a better father, is because I'll have more energy to play with my kids. It's going to help me be a better like output as far as a businessman and what I'm doing with coaching and so forth and so on. And also I'm living what I talk about. Yeah. And then even in the future, legacy-wise, it's tied to purpose in that way because I want to be able to have sustainability in my life. So, and then even just listening to what you were saying, Ron, even like, I'm like, okay, is that happening with baking? I'm testing your model to see if it's true. Yeah. So if he says to himself, I'm going to bake one something every week, right? How is that that can be tied to his purpose? We know it's tied to his inner child, but then it's like, it could be in the sense of like, it's something that I get to serve my family with, right? It's something that I give them a dessert, you know, every week. And
here's how I'd say it applies, because you're creating something. When you're baking, you're not consuming, you're creating.
Right.
In fact, you're creating something that somebody will then consume.
Right.
And so it just shifts. Again, we're talking from the perspective of mindset. It shifts the brain waves and like the state that you're in mentally. You're not in a state of like, I'm just consuming. I'll scroll if I want to consume.
Right.
And then my mind is in this mode of like, it's what we call, I don't want to get too textbooky, but it's the DMN, the default mode network. That is mediocrity sauce. Right. That is, I don't feel compelled, motivated, inspired, or disciplined. I'm not going to create anything. I'm just a sitting duck for whatever the algorithm wants to feed me. Like, you just tell me what I'm gonna do today and I'll go do that, right? What you want to activate is called the RAS, the reticular activating system. It's like a light switch. If the RAS is on, the DMN is off, right? Like darkness in the room, flip the switch, light is on in the room. The reticular activating system is active when you're doing something like baking. Your brain is on and not off, right? So of course you can be a consumer and you can spend some time scrolling while the cake is in the oven. But the fact of the matter is that if you choose to mindfully pursue this act of creation, you're just gonna ask better questions. You're gonna arrive at better conclusions. You're gonna find yourself with like mysterious and miraculous good ideas that just pop up. And it feels to you like it just happened to happen, but really it's your brain was in a totally shifting state where it had access to these things.
No, that's
like,
I love it.
Because now, watch this too. So like real quick, I want to get this idea off. It happens at rest as well. So in creation mode, it happens, but you also get access to very creative ideas when you're in passive productivity, I call it. So you're at rest, but you're not sleeping. So like when you're driving, when you're in the shower, a lot of times people report like, man, that's where I got that big idea that changed the world, changed my life. Right? Yeah. Because you're not stressed. You're not in a like, I gotta produce this thing. This deadline is coming. I have to think of a XYZ. It's more of just you're living life without boundaries, without fear, and then suddenly something beautiful hits you. So I want to be fair and just say it could happen in that mode too.
Yeah, no, that's dope.
Okay. That's dope. You ready to keep moving?
No, we gotta keep. Yeah, we gotta keep.
Okay, so we're going growth mindset.
So that's we did the purpose. Now we're gonna growth.
Yeah.
All right, growth mindset, and you know, for me, like I said, I see that as like I know how I see it, but I want to see if it comes out in what you talk about. So give us something, this creative entrepreneur who's watching right now, they're so tuned in, but they'll sound so freaking smart with the DNM and the RAS and the, you know what I mean? And so what do you mean by growth mindset, and how do you help somebody install a growth mindset?
Let's talk about what it's not, and then it makes it really clear what it is.
Okay.
A fixed mindset says my circumstance is my ceiling. A growth mindset says my circumstance is information connected to opportunity. So in a fixed mindset, man, people like me, they don't make it to that level. Man, my mom and dad and the resources they have, I mean, you know, I'm a product of my environment, right? Fixed mindset plays out in a lot of ways. A person who is growth minded can still step into a fixed mindset. So like the example I just gave, like yesterday in my really rough High Rocks workout, I am a growth minded individual, and otherwise I wouldn't be. I'm at this space, shout out BC Fit. They're a great fitness community. They got like banners hanging all over their walls of first and second place finishes in this highly competitive global sport, right? They're like top dogs in that space. You're not gonna be a growth minded individual, or you're not gonna be a fixed minded individual and step into that space, right? Like you're choosing the big leagues. But in that space, I see the workout written on the board, and instantly I'm challenged, like the default mode network comes on, imposter syndrome is in the room with me, and it's like, do I really feel like pushing a sled that heavy today? I do love this. I am committed. I showed up. I drove all this way. Clearly I want to be here, and this feels so inconvenient and uncomfortable, and I wish I could just, it's like that old Southwest Airlines commercial, want to get away, right? So fixed mindset says my circumstance is my ceiling. Whatever I'm feeling right now or whatever I'm up against right now, that's it. There's a lid on my capacity. I have limits, right? But a growth mindset says I can grow through what I go through. A growth mindset says whatever my circumstance is, even if it's uncomfortable and I have to find grit to leverage growth, right? Like, I will absolutely apply the information of my circumstance in a way that opens up an opportunity, right? So a simpler way to say all those words is fixed mindset sees obstacles, growth mindset sees opportunities.
Yeah.
When we can change the brain to reframe it and see it from that perspective, there's just like no limit to what we can do.
Okay, let's install it. Let's install it. How are you going to install it in me? I got it. You made it plain.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be growth mindset.
Okay. Tell me about one challenge you're navigating.
Okay.
Could be anything, big or small, whatever level of vulnerability you're comfortable with. We don't have to turn this into a whole coaching session. Just one example. But it's hard. It's uncomfortable. It's like, that really, I got to deal with that. I don't want that.
The first thing that came to my mind was like me being a person who people want to hear from me more. Like I'm artist. My name is Shai, but I'm artistic leader, or I'm known as Shai Speaks, right? And so, but just publicly known rather. And people don't want to just hear from me like from an artist, but they want me to talk about things. They want to hear my perspective. People will like email me. They'll ask me, "What are you going to say about that? What do you want?" So like, I feel like I should serve people well in that way of like they want to hear my mindset because they believe that I can expose them to something that they a viewpoint that they don't have. But I just, when it comes to getting on social media, sometimes it's just like, my legs gonna be sore, like you said, So that would be one thing that kind of comes to my mind. If you want to do me, if you want to do.
Oh, we know you. Stay there. Stay there.
Stay there. Okay. So I noticed one thing you said was like, I should. Right? Like people expect this of me, therefore I should.
Yeah.
One of the key things in my coaching process, I tell people this all the time, stop shoulding on yourself. Because should is a very charged word where it kind of like the should word elicits another SH word, which is shame. I feel a little bit of shame in me if I'm not doing this thing that people have told me they expect me to do, right? I love how you go by Shai and you're definitely outspoken and not shy. Like that's a dope little angle there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's marketing collateral. Hello, while we talking creative entrepreneur. But here's what I would say. Question, why is it challenging for you to speak more to give more detail to what you're sharing or to take it to social media? Why does there feel like there's a dissonance between what people are saying, oh, you know what you're good at? Well, we'd love to see you do more of, and what you naturally feel inclined to do? Like, what's that gap look like?
No, it's not just that people see that I should do more of it. I was just quantifying the fact that there is a demand.
Yeah.
I feel like I should speak more with regards to no. I don't feel like I can speak more. I'm always speaking. I'm always talking, especially in interpersonal relationships. Sometimes there's phone calls happen. I don't think from the time you've come around that you think I have a hard time like speaking.
Not at all.
Sharing what's on my mind. So I don't have a hard time with it. It's the whole documenting it that I have to do to capture it and upload it and all of that. It's that part. It's not the speaking. I can speak, you know what I mean? And I have something to say and I have things to share. That doesn't come hard for me. It's just the translating it into recording it and then uploading it and sharing it and then making sure I'm saying the right amount of output and all that kind of stuff.
So what happens?
I'm hearing content.
Yeah, like documenting it and framing it as content. I love that. What happens if you never take that step?
I believe that there's a level of authority rather that I may be able to have as on topics that I know well. I believe that I don't get to have just as a person. I think also that there is a group of people who don't get to benefit from, say, like maybe the wisdom downloads that God had me, or the study and the reading and all the work that I do for myself. They don't get to partake in that, and so I care about that part. Those are two things I think.
Fixed mindset. My circumstance is my ceiling. In your case, it's not just your ceiling; it's a lot of other people's ceiling.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And I don't take this in the way of, oh, well, then I should. Right. This is not an obligation thing. It's an opportunity thing. How many more people do I have the power to influence if I choose to document my journey and share it as content? So then what becomes possible if you document it and share it as content?
Right. So growth mindset will put me in a mindset of, I need to, when I get ready to do it or whatever, I need to be thinking about all the possibilities and move into the possibilities and not stay in the realms of all the things that are going to be discomforting for me, is what you're saying.
So it could be choosing a different focus, right? Because it's so easy to focus on how heavy that freaking sled is, right? It's so easy to focus on, I gotta lug my camera equipment, I gotta have a higher production cost,
Right.
I gotta do all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
I get you, right? That's a heavy sled to, put it to my journey, right? That's a oven that look a little shady. I don't know if I want to bake in that thing, right?
Yeah.
To put it to Ron's journey. Choosing to focus on the shady oven, the heavy sled, all the extra production, ceiling, right? But choosing to focus on the gift, the empowerment of others. And I noticed your body language, even like you just, right? Like you feel it, you know the level of your impact and what could happen, right? So your circumstance goes from being a ceiling to just being mere information. It's neutral. It's not good or bad or otherwise. It's information. The information is connected to something good. Opportunity not just for you. You'll grow your platform with excellent content, but you'll grow the people who are choosing to follow your platform as they are now able to absorb so much more. You're giving life, you're giving wisdom, you're giving tools, resources. Like you're leveling so many other people up and you're helping them grow through what they go through. You might as well go ahead and choose your growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, so that's dope. So we got purpose, growth. We hit it on rest a little bit, but we'll dive a little bit more. Like this, like I said, once again, going to that grind mentality. So we'll say myself. We use me. We use you as a
that's fair. I like that.
So currently, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a husband. 20 years. Just celebrated 20 years.
What? Let's go. Congratulations.
Then I'm a father of a 16 and a 12-year-old.
Okay.
And right now, I'm currently still the director of a nonprofit. Or at the time of this recording, right, I'm a director of a nonprofit. So that's a lot of tasks, right? So what would you do with somebody with all these things, help them find or, prioritize rest from the standpoint of you coaching?
Yeah, okay. So let's use something that we all have as an example. we all have smartphones, right?
Right.
We have these glowing rectangles in our pocket. It's a tool, but it's also a toy, right? You would call it a phone, but we don't just use it to call people. In fact, we don't call people anymore. We text people, we connect with them on social media. It's your GPS. Like I use the Waze app to get here to this podcast interview. Yeah. We use our phones for so many things. It's our email, it's our alarm clock, right? We love our phones. So let's use something that we consider to be near and dear to us. What would happen to your phone if you never charged it?
It would literally die.
Yeah, everything that you lean on it for.
Right.
Those texts, the GPS, the email, all of that. Like the only way you talk to your mama, like it all goes away if that thing does not get some rest and the ability to recharge, right? 3 phases in which we use our tech devices: rest, recharge, re-engage. Rest is what our phones are all doing right now. We're in this interview. They're just laying on tables. We're not looking at them. We're not checking screens. We're all communicating to each other kindly, like, yeah, whatever tech devices I have are not my priority. You're my priority, right? Phone is at rest. It's literally doing nothing. There's value in that. If we decide to charge our phone, we connect it to a charger. It's still in a passive position, but this is that passive productivity.
Right.
This is like your time in the shower. This is like your time driving. It's like your time like on the phone with a homie, a really good friend that cares about you. And it like the oxytocin response, the hormonal response to feeling like nurtured and cared for is like recharging your spirit. You feel alive and it elevates your mood. You're not at work, not necessarily at rest. You're in recharge, right? But then there's re-engage. Something is fully charged. You take it off the charger. Now you can use it.
Right.
Make a phone call, send a text, drop a little something on the gram, sharing that content that empowers people, right? I think that the same thing is true of the human mind. It needs rest, it needs recharge, and it needs re-engagement. We as entrepreneurs spend so much time in engagement, which can be productive. It is good. Hear me. I'm not against working hard. I am an entrepreneur. I know what it's like to always have that next thing you got to get done, right? But here's the thing. We stay stuck in engagement, not re-engagement. Are we refreshed for engagement? Have we rested? Have we recharged, right? So how we identify and really define rest could be different person to person. Yeah. We all need deep rest. Every human needs sleep, right? And so I think a lot of times we're undersleeping, over caffeinating, right? That's a journey I think we all need to get a little bit more curious about, right? But then that recharge piece, that gray area, it's like, what does that look like for you? It's separate from your unrelenting endeavor. It's separate from the hard thing that you're choosing that leads to a good thing. This is that thing that's not sleep, but it's not deep rest, but it's also not deep work, right? Is it picking up a running practice, going to hit the gym? It can be something as simple as watching a great series on Netflix. And I think people kind of speak down on certain social activities. There are some things that for some brain types can be very nourishing, right? To just get you back online, but without being online, right? Yeah. So I think that for you, a husband, a father, a director, a leader, a person in production spaces, you got a lot going on. And so again, just throwing a question to your story. What is it that you enjoy doing when you're off the clock that feels like rest, but also energizes you? It's a phone on the charger. It's on the table, but it's connected to a power source. What does that look like for you?
Riding my e-bike. Okay. I have an e-bike that I love. I'm glad that was like the best investment like that I've had in the past couple of years. Well, personally, riding my e-bike, and then I've recently been going back to the gym. So those are too. Yeah,
it's amazing.
And I ride my e-bike to the gym. And it's a nice little way. It's about a 45-minute bike ride.
Okay, so you get like time in.
Yeah.
You can't reach for the phone on the e-bike. You can't be in distraction. You're more in discovery and not distraction. Yeah. I'm sure there's pieces of the city that you see on the e-bike that you don't see in a car because you're not flying past them at 60 miles an hour on a freeway. Exactly. You are moving in neighborhoods and you're experiencing bumps on the sidewalk and you're seeing the same people probably on a very regular basis and passing the same shops and things. Like that's a really cool mindful experience where you're not in deep rest, but you're also not in deep work. You're actually on the way to some good work and there's this meantime effect. That's really awesome. I love too that you find value in that e-bike. So that would be more, you said, right, in your body language, you lean forward and reach as you were saying it too. That's the best thing you've purchased. Right. That's powerful. I had a client one time, he had gotten a Ferrari. His thing was so sweet. Right. And I'm not even like a sports car person, but it was like, you see that pull up and it's kind of jaw dropping like, man, that thing is fire. And then one day he pulls up in a Suburban And I'm like, oh, you ain't bring the Ferrari out today. Like, what's going on? Like, you usually flex a little bit. And he was like, man, I had to get rid of that thing. It's like, why? He's like, man, I hated it. I'm like, okay, let's have that conversation. He would then break down in this story how the Ferrari, he loved it because of what it represented to him and status. Then he gets in it and he's like, the engine is too dang loud. I really like to listen to music when I'm driving, right? Or I'm always getting pulled over because it's a Ferrari. I wouldn't have this problem in something where I can push the gas pedal at a normal pace and like move at a normal rate, right? And then he's like, I can't fit my kids in a Ferrari. It's a two-seater. This Suburban, the whole family is with me. We listen to good music and we don't get pulled over. Wow. It's a core values thing, right? You could have a Benz to go to the gym in.
Right.
It'd be kind of nice to pull up in a Benz. But on the e-bike, you show up in a much better headspace because you felt the pulse of the city on the way to the gym. You weren't, having to check emails. You weren't listening to a podcast while driving and also drinking a coffee with one hand. You were fully engaged on this e-bike.
No, that's dope.
Okay, so we appreciate the lean in. You done turned your body language and everything, and you've leaned into giving us some of that good Harvard training neuroscience coaching that you have. So we want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
I want to ask you a couple other questions, and I want you to, some of these things, I wanted you to speak it directly to the camera.
Okay.
I wanted you to say, because it was one thing, he said something about, it was I have to go back and get it, but it was a quote where you were like, and I'm like, ooh, I was like, pointing to the camera, like, tell him. So, and also I want to make sure that like, people who are watching is like, okay, we're watching them experience it, but I want to pull them back into the experience as well. So it's like, okay, we're back, y'all. We're not just getting this, y'all. We want y'all to get this as well. Hopefully you've been picking up on some of the terminologies that we talked through in rest, in growth, and also in the purpose piece. So I just want to because you're fully like engaged over here. So I'm like, okay, you got your camera over here. We got over here. We're ready. We're back in it. And because before we get ready to end, I want to ask you a few more questions, coming back around to some of the creative based business stuff.
Yes.
And how growth mindset worked for you. Now, before we started, just talking, briefly before we were here and kind of doing the podcast, you talked about something that happened for you where growth mindset had to kick in. And so, and I know it was a little bit of a loop that was open earlier for those of you who were watching. It was like, okay, so he had some gyms. Does he still have some gyms? Like, and how did he get into this space, right? So can we talk about the growth mindset that happened for you? Yeah. You say something fire, I want you to just give it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think that one thing that's true of creative entrepreneurs is that we have to come to a place where our curiosity is bigger than our ego, right? And so for us, as we had these gyms going, it was so fun and we loved it. There also came a day, we're having some conversations with our investors and we're assessing the financial feasibility of the future of this thing. And it's like, do we want to like totally AI integrate everything and feed a new demographic? Can we like live with the reality that maybe like our consumer was our age when we started and now 12 years into business, they've grown up with us, they live a different lifestyle, moved to a different part of town, maybe we're not the most conveniently located. Like what dreams, passions, visions do we have in our hearts that we could now pursue if we were free to go a different direction, right? And so I think that sometimes creative entrepreneurs will take the impermanence of one business idea as bad news. Really, it's invitation for a whole new beginning.
Yeah.
I remember growth mindset is all about the art of growing through what you're going through. Fixed mindset, my circumstance is my ceiling. Growth mindset, my circumstance is information connected to opportunity. There's always a way to find brand new opportunity. You can step into a new and wonderful chapter, and it'd be the saddest thing ever to mess around, find out you hindered yourself from being able to find something new and wonderful because you were so stuck on the thing you're about right now.
Wow. So how did you know from there, so the world of opportunity opens up, how did you discover what that new thing was? For you, it was always integrated, as you were saying.
Yeah.
But is that how you would go through and tell someone, like, look at what you were doing? Or is there a different way that you tell people to discover what that new, fresh path is?
Yeah. So I think that there's so many lanes within purpose, right? So you could pivot, you can change lanes and keep on riding, right? And I think that for a lot of us, we're honest as creative entrepreneurs, as we're doing a thing, we're being educated on all the things that we have the ability to do. Purpose doesn't live inside of one vocation, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, tell them, point to the.
Your purpose is bigger than one profession. Your vision is bigger than one vocation, right? So you can pivot then and still be within purpose. So as I was running these gyms and I was coaching physical fitness, I was also always getting calls that, hey, come speak at this conference. Hey, come work with this team. Hey, come pour into these people. I was being educated as I was doing coaching on the many ways coaching can be done, right? Like if you're baking cupcakes as your baking project, you're probably gonna be pretty dang good at baking cakes too. Right? If you're creating content for Instagram because you need to get your social voice out there, it's going to help a lot of other people. Who's to say you're not good at creating a documentary film, right? I find that purpose is not just a sandbox, it's the whole backyard, right? So if I'm a kid and I want to go outside, well, let's use my kids as an example. If my kids say, Dad, can we go outside on the swing set? Let's say, yeah, you can go outside on the swing set. Well, if one of them changes their mind and says, now I want to go on the trampoline, do they have to ask me for permission to go on the trampoline? I essentially gave you permission to be in the backyard.
Right.
There are boundaries. Don't leave this backyard and be playing out in the street. That's not safe. But if you stay in the safety of the zone you're in, you can absolutely pivot to a different lane and still keep on driving toward purpose, right? Yeah. And so I think that we get educated on purpose as we're pursuing a certain passion. We get educated on the many ways you can do a thing, right? So leading fitness classes for physical fitness, but I'm speaking life into people. I'm doing mindset coaching. Mental and emotional fitness are being coached on as well. So when we came to a point where it's time to reassess the future, what's our vision, where are we going now, it became really clear, I'm gonna pivot and stay in purpose. I now am still a coach. Yeah. I'm just not coaching in a gym. I'm coaching in the boardroom, I'm coaching in the locker room, I'm coaching in other rooms, but I'm still within that same exact lane of purpose.
Okay, now, is your wife still your business partner? And is she focusing on or handling the business side of your coaching for you?
It's a great question. Just yesterday, we had a review. She was putting together an engagement agreement for me for this new and wonderful opportunity I'm about to step into as an executive mindset coach with an organization. Okay. Basically, as soon as I told her the news, like, hey, I'm having these conversations, we're negotiating this thing, da-da-da, she didn't ask, hey, would you like me to? She didn't say, hey, I'm offering this. She was like, I'm gonna jump right on the engagement letter. Just email me the few things we need to make sure we include it and I'll get that drafted. And it was just amazing. Like, not even from the standpoint of supporting my vision, it's more of like, we are partnering toward a vision, right? And so it's like a foregone conclusion. I don't have to ask if my wife is in my corner, right? Yeah. It might be kind of like feels like a solopreneur lane where I'm doing this thing where I'm speaking and coaching versus like she and I were co-founders in a physical space at one address, right? But it's still always and forever like where I'm at, she's right there with me for sure.
I love that. So you're like, it's not a solopreneur thing. It's actually still in business model mode because technically, I mean, not saying the solopreneur can't have a business model, but you're like, it's not my vision and her vision. It's a vision that we're both working towards. And so I love it. So, because eventually I could see you like this executive mindset coach piece. I could see you having other executive coaches that are taking on other contracts with regard to you. I want to, before we end out, I wanted to kind of swing back on the business tip, especially for the people who are still watching right now. Yeah. You said that you just got a executive mindset. You're a mindset coach, but you just got an executive contract. Yeah. So I want to give a little bit business to people who are out there. We had a coach on here before. She was a relationship coach, and we asked her about a lot of different business tips. But I think one thing that how you approach getting your next contract is pretty cool. So can you share, like, if I'm a coach, how can I even get? I know I do individuals, but how can I wind up getting an executive situation? So.
Good question. So I thought going into keynote speaking and mindset coaching, these were going to be two separate verticals, right? To put it in business model speak, these were two different verticals that had different columns on my spreadsheet. What I've come to find out, though, is that there is such a symbiotic relationship between them and they live in the same space. So I got booked by this company to come out and keynote speak at their annual conference. And I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to invest in the people, and then I'm out, and then hope that they'll book me again next year. To my surprise, though, they follow up with me from my keynote speaking, and the CEO is like, man, you coaching me. I'm there in the back of the room. Like, I've always been the kind of guy that doesn't feel like I necessarily always have the right ideas. I'm learning from what you're pouring into me.
Right.
I want our people to get that. He's like, our people have been coming to us for a while saying, hey, we need more leadership development. I think this is like, you're that piece. So come on board, journey with us, long haul, ongoing as an executive mindset coach, right? So now I get to step into this organization and do the same thing I've done with these pro sports teams and, other, groups that I've worked with. And that's really exciting for me. So I would say to that coach who's like, how do I break into something new? I think like just weaving it into the things that they are speaking about, right? Like making it known, like this is something that I'm open to, right? I guess maybe working in the one-on-one space, you're drilling down just very intimately with one person, right? But I think also tapping into their network is a really cool thing as well. Like, how do we inspire one person to spread a message to the many people in their community, right? Or if that individual gets the platform, the opportunity, the space to do speaking, and I don't know if they're passionate about that, but if they do, it's a really incredible lane to then leverage group work because you're one person standing before many, essentially storytelling how you can serve many people. Don't be surprised then when a representative of those many people says, hey, you are our people, right?
Yeah. So two ways, if you have the speaking capability and the passion for that, you can go and speak in front of the one to many model, which is I'm speaking in front of 20 people, 15 people, 50 people. Is a conference, is maybe 1,000 people. If I have the ability to do that, I'm still doing my same frameworks and my same thing that I do in my coaching practice, but I've coupled it with speaking. And once I speak, I shouldn't be surprised if I wind up increasing the probability that somebody's going to book me for an executive something. And then the other thing is, if I'm working with them one-on-one, maybe even asking for their network, that means that they're going to refer. But there's also a way of tapping into their network where I create a one-to-many model. I go to a conference.
I thought about that too, right? Like I'm working with you on what we're coaching. Do you have other friends that are experiencing the same pain points? Because look, we're going to discount your costs because now it's at wholesale. You're buying in bulk, essentially. Again, putting that in business terms. But the way you frame that is, why don't we create a small group? Let's get 8 to 10 people just like you. It's going to cost you less because you're part of a group and it's all the same hour of coaching for me, right? And you create a new system, a new product in your product suite to offer. Well, another thing I thought about too is the simple, unsexy stuff like posting on LinkedIn, for example, right? Here's what's crazy is I realize I'll be talking on LinkedIn to try to reach new people. But what happens is my phone rings and it's like people I've known for years. They're like, bruh, I saw what you just posted on LinkedIn. You know what? This new company I'm working with, they could use you. Let me, you mind hopping on a Zoom call with me and the CEO real quick? I'm like, let's do it. And you end up with new opportunities from old places, like people who already know you and love you, but maybe weren't super informed on what you're up to these days. They will see you talking to the masses, talking to people that are not them, and they'll say, hey, I want in on that. That's my homie, right? Like we had, just for context, for those watching, we had a conversation kind of off air around another CEO, entrepreneur that's the native to Houston, Lanny Smith, founder of Actively Black. And I'll share, I've known him for many years. He is a great example of this type of effect, right? Where like he steps into a lane of purpose, basketball. Born and raised in Houston, grew up wanting to be a Rocket. He was like a basketball legend in Houston, high school culture. Ends up getting his shot in the NBA, unfortunately gets injured, but he understood culture. He understood like urban fashion. He understood like standing on a platform and leveraging it for good. And now he has a much greater impact in sports culture than he ever would have as an athlete. Like this former brand he used to have called Active Faith, like people were wearing his band as they're hoisting Super Bowl trophies and NBA championship trophies. Like he has a bigger stamp on the game than he ever would have had when he was playing in the game, right? And then when it comes to leveraging one platform to build another, kind of like for me, it's like speaking leading to coaching. For him, it was like fashion leading to social activism. You really just get informed once you're in a space of what you really have the power to do. And then ultimately, if you can run with that, it's like purpose does become a backyard and not just a swing set.
Now listen, I would love for us to keep going, but
I just got, as a person that loves words, I like what you did there. You know, it comes the what and not just the
Yeah, backyard, not just the swing set.
which was cool
There's
because he
plenty
don't
of things at your disposal when you're in your lane of purpose.
Yeah.
which he don't even, I'm not sure if he even know what he did, because he did the analogy with the kids playing in the backyard and they can play on the swing, but then eventually you got to access the whole backyard. But I do think he knows, because I think he has a little embarrassment at the top.
Every daydream there.
Right, going on over here. We'll put that in the bio as well. I want to say thank you to you for coming to share what you share with us, Ron and I, just kind of giving us a little neuroscience coaching sauce, but also what you've shared with the audience. You're helping us kick off our series of resources for creative entrepreneurs right here on the MMCB podcast. And I also want to thank the listeners. We've done a great deal of talking about, look to the camera and tell them this, but if you listen to this on the audio platform, you listen to this on wherever it is you listen to it. I listen to it on Amazon, other people listen to it on Spotify, but if you're listening, I want to say shout out to you for listening as well. But if you got a little time, peek your head in on YouTube, hit the subscription button, and all of that. But if wherever you are, like it, maybe drop a comment. If you want to hear a part 2 with Mr. Terry Williams, please let us know, because we'll beg him to find some time in between all the
Oh, you ain't got to beg. I'm in. I'm down. If you want to run it back, we running it back. Let's go.
Let's run it back.
I'm with it.
Okay, so cool. So I just want to thank you all for listening, for tuning in so far. Ron, you have anything?
Yes, we want to encourage you all to listen. If you're loving what you're hearing, and you are a creativepreneur, and you want to take your business to the next level, join the Creative to CEO Challenge, right? Because you can't just stay solely in creativity mode, right? There has to be a time to where you make that shift, i.e. while we do the Mind of My Creative Business podcast. But we're going to go even deeper, right? To where it's a 5-day challenge where we're going to help you get clarity on your vision, on your purpose. We're going to help you put systems in place. We're going to help you develop the mindset that you need to where you can get to the place that you want to go, right? So you're not burned out. You're not scrambled. Things are very clear and concise for you. So join it. There'll be some information in our show notes to where you can click on that link and join the next challenge when it gets started. And we encourage you to do that today.
Listen, I appreciate you also for listening to all of us. You listen to Ron, myself, Shai, you listen to Terry, but we want you to hear from yourself as well, because again, we're talking about minding my creative business. I believe that minding your business is also speaking as well, affirmations. You're gonna be able to speaking these affirmations over yourself. And so we end every episode with an affirmation that we've coined. And so I want you to end this by repeating after me. And don't try to not repeat after me, because I can see you. I see you. I'll come over there. I'll come right through the screen. Don't try me. Matter of fact, I'm coming in. No, seriously, I want you to repeat after me. I want you to say this. I want everybody here, let's say it out loud. So here we go. All it takes is consistency, intention, and laser focus to mind my creative vision.
To my mind, creative business. I love that.
And on that note, we out.
We out.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.